Welcome back to the Hill Update. I'm Dean Allison, Member of Parliament for Niagara West. Joining me on the show today is Jocelyn Bamford, who is the Vice President, Automatic Coating Limited, and the founder of the Coalition of Concerned Manufacturers. Jocelyn, thanks for joining me on the show today.
Hey, thanks for having me, Dean. So fun to be on this side of the camera.
I would guess so. So, Jocelyn, you're certainly in a unique position to observe what's going on both sides of our respective countries. You've got manufacturing in the US as well as Canada. So I want to take a second just to talk about some of the challenges our Canadian economy is facing. So some studies have shown that by 2030, the carbon tax will cost the Canadian economy in terms of GDP over $30 billion. And there was a Financial Post article earlier this year that indicated that from 2016 to 2022, close to 225 billion, yes, that's billion with a B, in capital was lost as more direct investment left our country. So my question to you is, what does a loss of investment do for us here in Canada?
Yeah, it will, quite frankly, it costs jobs. That's the bottom line. It costs jobs, and it also costs innovation, because when you drive small to medium sized business, which a lot of the businesses that have moved to the United States are, you don't just lose jobs and revenue, you lose their innovation. So Canadian innovation becomes another country's success story. And that's tragic. We have such great innovation in Canada. We have such great entrepreneurs, but when you make it impossible for them to compete with carbon tax, with allowing products that are manufactured outside Canada to come in without some of the regulations, costs that are associated, then you drive out all of those things, jobs, innovation. And then the other thing that people don't kind of think about is a lot of charity work is done through small to medium-sized business, because they feel like they need to give back to the communities of which they're located in. So you also lose some of the charitable dollars, the people that donate to the churches, to the hospitals, to other food banks. So it is really a huge impact when you consider all of the parts of it.
Okay, I want to cut to a video right now and get your thoughts on this video.
Canada's workers get 55 cents of investment for every dollar an American worker gets, and only 65 cents for every dollar an OECD average worker gets, for a net 450 billion Canadian investment dollars.
Okay, let's go to an infographic. I'm gonna ask you a question with this chart. We talked about jobs and investment, but I think one of the biggest challenges we're at now is our incomes and how they're falling so dramatically beyond the US. If you see this chart right now, you see that all provinces in Canada fall below places like Alabama and Mississippi in terms of how much money we make compared to our US counterparts. This is devastating. I'd love to have your comments on this.
Yeah, and we predicted at the coalition that this would be happening like years ago when we started it. And what did we see? We saw high-paying manufacturing jobs being replaced with low-paying service jobs. And why were they being replaced? Because we were not cost competitive. We were not cost competitive specifically in energy. And if you look at Ontario, it is far too expensive for electricity there. You look at all of the taxes that are on diesel and on natural gas, which we use to drive our plants. You see that. And then to add insult to injury, GDP contribution by segment, you'll see that manufacturing is second and the resources are third. And when you take out the resource sector, who do you think supports the resource sector? Manufacturing jobs. They make spools, they make pipes, they make all the components that go into those resource infrastructure. So if you drive those out and you don't allow projects to go in, what do you think is going to happen?
Well, that's a great point. If you don't allow investment to come in and you don't have a great manufacturing sector, which we'll talk a bit about in the next segment, that's part of the perfect storm for creating low paying jobs, right?
Yeah, and you see that in that infographic. It's pretty clear, and we predicted it years and years ago, and still governments have done nothing at any level to do the important things that they should be doing, maintaining jobs, creating an environment that jobs and investment could thrive, because they're doing all the other things that aren't helpful on all different levels. And municipalities are banning natural gas. We see carbon taxes, etc. It's just a perfect storm.
Okay, we'll come back for a break. We'll talk about manufacturing in a little bit.